Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Newcastle Town Board. This is the meeting of September 10th, 2024. The board has been in executive session and we are now going to enter our work session. May I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so today we have a special presentation. We are so pleased to welcome Horace Greeley High School senior Reese Wang, who's been a summer intern in town. And everyone was so happy and grateful to have you working with us in town. I heard wonderful things about you, so thank you for helping our staff get through the summer. Reese is going to present the Millwood Park ADA Walkway Improvement Project, something we've been looking forward to hearing about. So Reese, I will give you the floor and we can get started.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone, my name is Reese Wang and I'm a student at Horace Greeley High School. So today I'll be presenting about a 3D model that I designed for the Millwood Park Walkway project. To start, let's take a look at the existing conditions and why we needed to change them. The width of the pathway varies quite extremely, ranging from 3.5 feet to 9.5 feet. On average, the width is 4 feet wide, which is way below the American Disabilities Association requirement of 5 feet wide. In addition, it currently has varying slopes up to 12.2%, way over the ADA requirements of 8.33%, and even more over the recommendations of the Department of Transportation, which is at most 7.5%. Furthermore, there are currently no handrails on the pathway, even though the ADA requires handrails for any slope over 5%. There are also currently no level landings on the platform, which are required for wheelchair users to turn around or for resting points. Last but not least, there's currently no pathway from the main path to the gazebo, making it virtually impossible for any wheelchair users to access it. To fix this, the engineering department plans to implement a uniform width of 8 feet wide with a slope of 5 to 6%, way below the ADA requirements. We also plan to add 5 8x8 landings, a new pathway from the main path to the gazebo, and a new landing from the bridge to the entrance of the pathway, which ranges from 5 feet to 8 feet wide, creating a smooth transition for wheelchair users. We also plan to implement handrails on both sides. When viewed side by side, you can see the difference in width as well as our new add-ons, such as the 8x8 landings and the new path to the gazebo. This is a bird's eye view of the model that I created. When viewed side by side with the proposed plans, you can see the key points of the new project. For example, here is the pathway that is to be built. This is the playground and the tennis court. This is the river and the parking lot, and over here is the baseball field. When creating this model, I was very careful to get every angle exact. For example, the entrance is exactly 11 degrees and the entrance to the tennis court is exactly 45 degrees. Here are some different views of my model from the front to the playground and to the tennis court respectively, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. This is a close-up of the entrance to the pathway. It's 8 feet wide with a 6% grade, and it allows access to the gazebo. Since it's relatively flat and close to the ground, we only require a handrail on the south side of the pathway. This is an entrance from our pathway to the playground. We have handrails on both sides leading up to the playground, but at the top we have a level landing with no handrails, allowing easy access for people wanting to go around the pathway without handrails blocking them. This also allows easy access for the Parks Department to do their regular checks and maintenances. This is our entrance to the tennis court. Similarly, we also have a landing at the top without handrails for the same reason as the playground, allowing easy access for people. This is a close-up of our access from the pathway to the baseball field, allowing people to go onto the pathway or onto the baseball field. It has a slope of 4 horizontal for 1 vertical, aka a 1/4 slope, which provides convenient walking conditions for people. And similarly, it also allows access for the Parks Department and visitors. Last but not least, this is a close look at our walkway to the gazebo. The gazebo is often used for having lunch or to take shelter under the rain. Previously, there was no current way for wheelchair users to access the gazebo, but with this new walkway, they can access it safely and easily. This also provides easier access for non-disabled people because the impervious surface allows them to avoid stepping in mud during poor weather conditions. Here are some more pictures of my model from different angles. On the left side, you can see a close-up of our entrance to the pathway. In the middle, here's a look at what it looks like from walking from the playground down the pathway. And here's a look at from the side to the gazebo and to the playground. On the right side, you can see what it looks like walking from the tennis court down onto the walkway. And now, if you would be so kind, I'd like to show you my model in person. Alright, so this is the 3D model that I designed. You can take a 3D look around it. For example, this is the entrance to the walkway. This is the baseball court, and this is the access road from the baseball court to the pathway. Here is the entrance to the playground and the level landing without any handrails. And here's the pathway to the tennis court. And here is the road to the gazebo that is newly implemented. I also added dimensions on this model for, one second. As you can see, I added dimensions. For example, it is 8 feet wide and 20 feet long for each ramp, and also has a rise of 1 foot high.
There's a 1 foot concrete foundation underneath
Yes.
the entirety of the sidewalk?
Yes, but it's 1 foot high for every run of 20 feet.
Gotcha.
And this is the bridge. We added some people on the walkway to have a good scale comparison of what it would look like in comparison to the height of the railings. And yes, this is a look at my 3D model from very far out. Alright, thank you so much for having me here, and I'd especially like to thank Mr. Robert Cioli and Assistant Town Engineer Miguel Fabril for this incredible opportunity to work with you.
I think this is going to make the park so much more attractive and obviously accessible. And I think you did a fantastic job. Can you tell us more about what exactly, I mean, your role was to create this entire model. Was that your project for the summer?
Yes, I worked on this model, but the design was completely the engineering departments and Miguel's and Robert's.
But you created the computerized model.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
it's very, very well done.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, it helps us to know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing the actual park and pathways. But congratulations, and I'm glad you had a great experience with the town, and I know that everyone had only wonderful things to say about working with you.
Thank you.
And we're also appreciative of your work.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
So I know that I know Bob wanted to thank Reese as well, and when she presented this to the staff, we were blown away. I know Bob was really impressed all summer and has raved about the work that Reese has done. And I know you fit in really well with Miguel and with Bob, and so I know he'd like to say a word too and to just
Sure,
thank you. Yeah.
Hi Supervisor Tippin, members of the board. Reese has been an absolute pleasure to work with. She's been involved in many aspects, working with Miguel, working with Terry, working with Bass, who is another exemplary intern we had this summer. Engineering design, research, construction inspection. She was willing to do everything and anything that we asked of her. She's been diligently working on this, volunteering her services, by the way, all summer, and she dedicated over 100+ hours to produce this model tonight for the town's presentation. I wish Reese all the best in the civil engineering career, and which I have no doubt she'll have an illustrious career. And I'm sure that her mom and dad are very proud of her accomplishments. And Reese, thank you so very much. Absolute pleasure. And don't forget to fill out and apply for some intern next year.
Or during the year.
Yeah,
Or
Bob,
during the year, yes.
Bob, I'm sorry you're not here. I would like the board to take a picture with Reese. Yes? Okay, let's do it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Reese.
much.
Really.
Thank you,
Thank
Reese.
you.
We're so impressed by you, really.
By the way, this project has just started, the walkway project.
Yeah.
It's really terrific.
Yeah, just a little housekeeping, we are starting the project this week, so we are closing, I think, the tennis courts and the playground, the access to that's restricted until we finish, so.
Okay. We're gonna stand ready. Christina, you're gonna. Yeah. Or you.
No, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Wait.
One more. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so
much.
Great work.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, town board. Good night.
Good night, Bob.
Good night. I missed my one and only photo op. Oh.
Let's
Good night,
superimpose them.
everyone.
Sorry,
Reese, can you
Bob.
superimpose them? You have the skill.
It's better off on that in the picture. Bye-bye.
Rob, how long do we think it's gonna take?
Just do like the face.
I'm not sure, a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Not bad.
Not too bad.
No, it's
Not
not
bad
too
at
bad.
all.
It's gonna make such a difference.
Yeah, I will say the engineering department, we've worked on this for almost a year. Miguel's been amazing. But we did work with Ike and Christine too, to I think to keep the ball field, to reschedule games when we could and to keep access to the ball field and limit the amount of time that we had to restrict access to everything else. So obviously we had to do it, we had to work it in at some point. We had the softball season over the summer and getting ready for fall ball and everything else. So everybody's done a great job on this.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't have to miss their season.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for working that out.
That model made it
okay.
so easy to visualize, thank you. Thank you.
Excellent job.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Right. Natalie's easy to
Okay,
pull
we've
up.
got administrative items. Who's gonna do that? Rob? Okay. We're gonna be early.
Just a couple administrative items. We have the authorization to utilize the Public Safety Trust. A couple years ago, board member Lauren Levin donated some money to be put in trust for the police department to use for safety initiatives. And the chief is going to use those. I think he's getting a couple of bicycles and some other equipment for the police department. So that fits with the use of the trust and how it was set up. Authorization to attend a conference for the police, I think that is I believe that's a women in law enforcement conference. We have the authorization to accept the vehicle auction results. Jeremy, you'll be happy. Sorry, I don't have the running total like I usually have for you, but I'll get that for you. We have the authorization to approve the banner request for the Newcastle Historical Society. This next one for the coach plus bids, this is authorization to obtain bid for the coach plus, okay. These are the recreation programs that are outside of town for the coach buses. I think last week or the other week we went out to bid for the bus bid for the after school programs in town. So this is for the programs outside of town. And we have the authorization to approve the license agreement with Westchester County regarding the radio communication system, that's for the police.
Okay, well, that does it for the work session. So we're going to have a situation where we are half an hour early. And I'm not sure that we can have a board meeting
We can.
before it's been noticed. Isn't that right, Michael?
correct.
We're going to have to
That's
wait.
correct.
Wow.
Yeah, this is
That's
unusual.
Lino-
That was this
Lino
I
has
said
warned
usual, I
us
mean,
a
the
few
first time
times
usual, maybe.
about this, just Lino
This
has
has
said
never
we should be
happened.
putting on our agenda
Or as soon
or as soon as the work session
I
is
think
over.
we will be
So
doing
from
that.
now on,
Was
And we'll
this
never be ahead again.
because the
Never.
overlay district, the public hearing for that was noticed at a certain time?
7:30, that's
I
right.
think it was, so back when we were setting that up a couple months ago,
Warren's nodding.
I think that we, yeah,
She's
Yeah,
agreeing.
that's
a
why,
couple months ago, we had set this as the time, not really understanding what the agenda would look like leading
course,
up to
yeah.
that, and we were kinda, I suppose we could have started exactly a little bit later and maybe,
well,
Run right
I think
into
we
it.
have to adjourn the work session and then we'll have to take a half-hour break, unfortunately.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we will be back at 7:30.
Charades?
It's
You
too
sing happy
bad
birthday to
because,
Christina in the
How many, how many
Happy
times
Okay, we're back and good evening again, everyone, and we are at the Tuesday, September 10th, 2024 meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Newcastle. I'd like to have a motion to open up our Town Board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will start with announcements. Rob, are there any announcements for the day, for the meeting?
Christina, do you just wanna mention about the school tax collection that's beginning?
Sure. Town, excuse me, sorry. School tax bills have been mailed, you should have received them. They are due no later than September 30th for the first half school taxes. Have any questions? Please contact us in the town clerk's office.
Okay. I'll put that in the newsletter so it goes out to everyone. If you wanna send me a full
Yes, I will.
blurb with all the details, if
Yes.
there's anything else you need to say, so let me know.
Yes, that was very brief tonight, so I'll definitely send you something with more info.
Okay, and for my supervisor's report, I would first like to wish a very happy birthday to Christina Papes. I believe it's her birthday this very day, so happy birthday, Christina.
Happy birthday.
I would like to remind everyone that tomorrow is our September 11th memorial ceremony at 6 p.m. at Gedney Park. So we invite everyone to join us to remember the victims and their families and the survivors and the first responders and all those who put themselves in danger to save others. So we hope that you come and join us to honor their memories and be there with us. In addition, this week we have Community Day this Saturday, September 14th, which will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's an event sponsored by the Rotary Club at the Chappaqua train station. It's a free event and it's a great way to come back from summer vacation and see your neighbors and friends again. And it brings together all the community organizations, town or committees or schools and school-related organizations or volunteer corps, vendors and religious groups and much more. There'll be food and drinks and a lot of fun activities for the kids, including a bouncy house. So come and learn about the town and all the activities that go on here. Come and see your friends and it's a good time every year. The town has been doing this for over 40 years. And I wanna thank the Rotary Club, and Holly is on the board of Rotary. Is this the 41st year? Do you-
I don't have a count, to be honest.
Okay, but the town has been doing this for over 40 years and it's a great event, so hope everyone will join us there too.
Could I just add a couple of things?
Yeah, absolutely.
The mobile passport truck will be at Community
Oh, that's
Day.
awesome.
If you need to renew or
That's awesome.
obtain, they
Very
also have the
helpful.
ability to print your pictures, so one-stop shop. And the New York Blood Center will bring the blood mobile, so you can also donate to the blood bank.
And you don't have to sign up for that in advance, did you? You can do it, you can sign up when you're there.
They'll take walk-ins if they have the capacity. Or were you referring to the
To the
blood donations?
Well, actually both.
Passport I think is walk-in only. The blood center you can make an appointment, but they'll take walk-ins if they have the ability.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you, Holly. And do we have a town administrator's report?
Jill, do you have anything?
Can't hear you, Jill.
You're on mute, Jill.
Sorry, just wanted to maybe mention the professional training that we just did with all of our staff and our Millwood walkway project. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Jill. And now I'd like to announce something very special. Our town planner, Sabrina Charney Hall, has been awarded the 2024 Groundbreakers Award from the Pace Land Use Law Center. And she's been selected for this year. This was established in 1993. The Pace Land Use Center is dedicated to fostering the development of sustainable communities through the promotion of innovative land use strategies and collaborative decision-making techniques, as well as leadership training, research, education, and technical assistance. And the Groundbreakers Award is given to a graduate or group of graduates who've done exemplary work in a community or a region using types of land use and decision-making tools and techniques taught at the Land Use Center. And so we want to congratulate Sabrina. Sabrina has, you have been doing this, you've been in this program since 2000 and most recently in 2023. So you've been doing this work for a very long time and we want to congratulate you. The town is very proud of you and we usually recognize people in the community, but we rarely get a chance to recognize someone on our staff for an external award. So we're glad to recognize you and congratulate you. And we have a proclamation to give you. So we'd like to hand this to you officially and take a picture with you.
Can I just say really quick? Very quick. You are always available, you are always knowledgeable, you're always quick with your response and substantive and you can explain it to someone who doesn't understand it, sometimes 4 times or 6 times. Not to me, maybe I'm speaking on behalf of
Say sometimes to us 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, same, you know.
I don't think people appreciate the knowledge that and skill that you have or that it takes to do what you do. So sincerely and genuinely, a heartfelt congrats.
Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. It is an honor to work for you all, for the town. I really love what I do and who I do it for, so thank you very much.
Well deserved, Sabrina. Definitely.
Feel so
Surprise you.
Yes, very surprised.
Yeah, this is really cool. See, we just put that back. Congratulations. Congratulations, Sabrina. It's deserved for sure. Yep. We're lucky to have you.
So,
There we go.
alright, let's get, you know what, can everyone shift a little bit
Together.
over? Yeah. Alright, yes, okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, one more. Great, thank you.
Thank you all so much. It's great. They'll do it at the Land Use Law Center at the annual conference. They do a presentation. Yeah, it's exciting. Very surprising. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned the cackle.
That goes with me everywhere.
Okay, so now I'd like to turn to a commitment that the town has made to recognize all the cultural heritage months recognized by the United States government. And we are in September, and September 15th through October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month. So we'd like to recognize that with a proclamation that I can read. And Rob or Jill, can you tell us, is this something that we actually vote on that would be in the resolutions, or I can certainly read it now at this time? No, we don't do that, okay. So it's an item on our agenda, so I will go ahead and read it, unless somebody else would like to. No? Alright, so National Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th through October 15th. Whereas the United States of America is built upon the rich and diverse history of generations of Latinos whose aspirations, contributions, and achievements have helped shape our nation. Whereas Latinos have made invaluable contributions to the development of the United States as doctors, engineers, artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders in science, business, labor, government, the military, and grassroots movements. Whereas the determination, faith, and commitment of the Latino community have helped propel the United States towards achieving its highest ideals of prosperity, opportunity, and justice. Whereas the contributions of Hispanic writers, scientists, soldiers, doctors, entrepreneurs, academics, and leaders have continuously enriched the United States, while the music, art, literature, and creativity of Hispanic people have added immeasurable value to American culture. Whereas tens of thousands of Latinos continue to serve our nation and inspire future generations, including distinguished individuals such as Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Medal of Freedom recipient Dr. Julieta Garcia, and the late police officers Wilbert Mora and Jason Rivera, who were posthumously awarded the Medal of Valor. Whereas the deep-rooted values of family and faith are central to many Hispanic communities and continue to inform and shape the moral foundation of the United States. Whereas the United States States Congress by Public Law 100-402 has designated September 15 through October 15 of each year as National Hispanic Heritage Month, whereas Latino history is American history, demonstrating that the pursuit of opportunity and equality for all people is central to the American experience. Whereas diversity is one of the greatest strengths of the United States and the contributions of Hispanic Americans are critical to ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, can thrive and realize their full potential. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Newcastle hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th to be National Hispanic Heritage Month in the Town of Newcastle and expresses its gratitude for the lasting contributions of Hispanic Americans to the culture, strength, and progress of the United States. That is that. Okay, very good. Okay, and now we will move to public comment, new business. This is public comment that is not the public hearing that we have scheduled for Indian Brook Croton Gorge Watershed District. This is public comment on all other topics. So please come to the microphone, state your name, the town you reside in, and
Sure.
feel
Hi,
free to make your comment.
hello to everyone. I've talked to a few of you individually. My name is John Carey. I live in Hoboken for the last many years, but my hometown is here in Chappaqua. My parents moved to St. John's Place up in King Street Hill back in 1952. They had 6 kids and our family home was there until after my father's death in 1999. We were active members of St. John and Mary in all sorts of capacities, Boy Scouts, early members, number 14 in Chappaqua Pool. We all graduated from Greeley and were active in sports, community, day camp counselors. I painted fire hydrants for the town, all sorts of things. I'm here tonight to speak in regard to my youngest brother, specialist 4th class, Christopher J. Carey. Chris was the youngest of the 6 of us. He graduated from Horace Greeley in 1978. Chris volunteered after college for the Army, and he was killed at Fort Stewart, Georgia on April 9th in 1986 in service to his country. He was a helicopter crew member on a Chinook, which is the big double-bladed, helicopters, which had a head-on collision that night with a Cobra helicopter during night training. So it's all, it's in the past, but it's come up again. So Chris is buried over at Fair Ridge Cemetery. I continue to be a trustee there, and my folks are both buried there, and a number of people in the community. I come up occasionally for this and sit over in a meeting on the other side, courtesy of Doug Kraus. Recently, some of Chris's childhood friends and contemporaries contacted our family to advocate that he should be on the War Memorial here in town. This is, we used to walk down there when I was in the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and it was always a special place. So it wasn't brought up by our family, but we, my brothers and I and my sisters have talked about it along with other people. And we appreciate others remembering Chris, some of his classmates and things, but our family would like to, at this point, advocate for it. And I've had discussions along those lines with various people. So I'll leave it at that. I'll be up here on Saturday at Community Day, and if anybody'd like to talk then, I'm glad to. So, but thanks and appreciate your consideration of this. All right, so he was doing well.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank your brother posthumously for his
thank you.
for his service to our country
Yes.
and recognize your family for the
Well,
sacrifices that you made. And it's always good to have
Yeah.
the town's history recognized, and it's good to hear your history and your family's background here in town.
He was
And-
a good guy,
yeah.
so.
Thank you.
So sorry we lost him, and I didn't expect to ever be standing here advocating for this, and it was basically a couple, Freddie Marzella, Mark Westfall, Tom McLaughlin, who used to be a cop here in town, and others that came to us out of the blue, and were advocating for this, so I guess it's your decision.
It's
All right.
important. I think Jeremy has some
Yeah,
news for us.
The update, and Jill can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but you had reached out, or Frederick did, reached out. I put you or someone, I don't remember initially who was in touch, but with Jill and Jim McCauley who got involved, and I'm looking to the screen because Jill, the big screen's to the left. And I understand that right now the process is trying to identify who can do the actual marking or engraving
That's great.
on the memorial. And
Yes.
Jill, if you could just, if that's accurate.
Yes.
And if that's true, I know my brother's namesake, Major Christopher Carey, is gonna be home. The hope has been that we might be able to do something on Veterans Day, which would be appropriate, if that's possible. And Chris is coming east from Oregon, where he's in charge of emergency services, I believe, in Portland, Oregon, which is a wonderful place. Or maybe he's the number 2 guy, but to be in charge of emergency services. But that's most appreciated. So
Yeah.
thanks for everybody here in town. It's great to see good things going on here. It's always fun to be back up. I'm gonna be running back down to New Jersey and watching something on television this evening.
Okay.
So,
It's very good to
thank
meet
you,
you.
thank you.
Make sure we have your contact information when
I
it's
will
done.
leave this, there's probably
When it's done,
spelling errors there.
we'll contact you.
And I will,
Christina, do you wanna
if
take it so that
if you're, I
we
can, I can
we
give it over.
stay,
Yes.
we'll keep
We
this
find
in
out we know
a
your
safe
family.
place
Yes.
and
Yes,
Thank
we'll be in touch when it's
We'll
done,
give you an update.
okay.
so you'll know.
Yeah.
And I'll be around on Saturday.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank
maybe
you,
maybe
Mr.
one
Carey.
of my other
We'll look for
brothers.
you on
Who's
Saturday.
that, who would, my brother Joe would be here tonight, but he's at a planning board meeting himself in Ramsey, New Jersey. So that's what we do.
Thank you
Okay.
so
Being of
much.
Thank you
service.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Is there anyone else here for public comment other than the public hearing? No? Anyone online for public comment for new business? No? Okay, so at this time, I would like to open up the public hearing for the Indian Brook Croton Gorge Watershed Protection Overlay District. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sabrina, do you wanna give us a very quick synopsis
Sure.
of this before we begin?
Sure. The Indian Brook Croton Gorge Watershed Overlay Protection Zone is an effort that was initiated by the town of Cortland and the other 4 municipalities, Newcastle being one of them, the town and village of Ossining and Croton, the village of Croton-on-Hudson. The intention was to bring everybody that was within the Indian Brook watershed and the Croton Gorge watershed, which provide drinking water sources to the Osnings and Croton-on-Hudson, with the same level of environmental protections, or as close to as we could possibly get. The town of Newcastle, we exist in the headwaters of that watershed, and we already have very stringent regulations compared to the villages and the town of Cortland. So it was really an exercise in trying to bring everybody as close to our protections as possible. And there are some changes for us in this overlay protection zone. So, we did not, we are making changes, or proposed changes as part of this legislation. This is the, I think, 3rd public hearing that the town board is holding to consider this legislation. We've received some comments. The intention is after the close of public hearing, and if you deem to extend a written comment period, after all of that occurs, I will prepare a red line version of the legislation for you to consider changes, substantive changes that the public has asked for, and even minor changes if they seem to make sense. All of our changes need to be submitted to DEC, and they have to bless them for them to go into effect. All of the other municipalities, the 4 municipalities, the town and village of Ossining, Croton-on-Hudson, and the town of Cortland have all adopted this legislation. Croton-on-Hudson and the town of Cortland did submit minor changes to DEC and got approval, so there is precedent for allowing individuality in this overlay protection zone. But for the most part, the sustenance of the legislation is the same in each of our municipalities. So tonight, you're having a public hearing to hear from the community about specifics within the legislation. We are listening. We will make red line changes for those things that make sense, and ultimately the changes will be per the decision of the town board at a future meeting.
I'd like to ask, how long does it take for the DEC to approve So would the board pass the legislation and then get approval for what we?
I can handle it any number of ways. You can hold off on the decision with a draft. I can send it and ask for a quick turnaround. The people, the folks who would look at this, I think will do it in a pretty timely manner.
Timely meaning a week,
Couple
2
weeks.
weeks, couple weeks,
Yeah.
okay. Alright, I know that there are a few people here to speak, I just want everyone in the overlay district to know that we are aware that, people on the west side of town feel a bit overlooked, and I just want to acknowledge that and let you know that we definitely do care about your area. When we're done with the public hearing, I'd like to maybe set up a meeting with all of you to discuss any and all other issues that are on your minds, and I just want you to know that we are here for you. We will be making some changes, like Sabrina said, based on your comments. We want you to know that you are an equal part of our community, and we want to hear more from you, and we want you to know that we're accessible. So I will come to you, you could come and see me here, or I can come to one of you in your homes, or we can meet wherever is convenient. So I would like to, change the narrative of what has been and move forward in a different way. So I appreciate your being here, and we will start, and feel free to come on up and make your comments. Just come up and state your name and your address, and you can proceed.
My name is Bruce Topman. I live at 78 Glendale Road in Ossining. Ossining is the address, I guess. Newcastle is the place. So last time I asked for the basis or the documentation for this overlay. Well, what was the scientific and evidentiary basis for what we're about to consider? And I think the town supervisor of Ossining spoke and mentioned something, and I spoke to her afterwards. And she gave me the number of her planning consultant, and I spoke to her, and I got referred to Sabrina, I believe, who then referred me to Cortland. So I spoke to the person in Cortland, Michelle Robbins, and she told me that there's a document entitled Indian Brook Croton Gorge Watershed Conservation Action Plan, a cooperative effort among the town of Cortland, Village of Croton, the town of Newcastle, town of Ossining, Village of Ossining, New York State DEC Hudson River Estuary Program, and the Westchester County. So I looked it up. There are a few things on it that I think are interesting. So I'd like to, if you would bear with me, let me see if I have them here. So oops, one more page, sorry for the, here it is. I just read excerpts from it. It's on page 2-14 of the report. The Indian Brook Reservoir serves as a drinking water source for the town and village of Ossining. The overall water quality rating based on the Indian Brook stream work for the resident reservoir was good. Portions of the Indian Brook that run parallel to Glendale Road and eventually discharge into the reservoir, which is where I live, and I think a lot of the 102 homes are facing, eventually discharge into the reservoir might contribute stormwater pollutants to the reservoir. The key word there is might. There's no finding that anything happening on Glendale Road is discharging anything that's harmful. And I don't think there's any evidence whatever that anybody's produced that anything in this area of 102 homes has harmed in any way the watershed. Okay, and then it talks about runoff discharges into the stream during storm events through outfalls or sheet flow. That's one thing. The second is, there's a mention about people who live there. Some of the residents in the town of Newcastle and Cortland have private drinking water wells. God bless you.
Thank you.
Currently, no government oversight regarding monitoring water quality exists. It is the homeowner's responsibility for his or her well water, which is the way it is today. And again, there's nobody in the 102 homes that is made any complaint about their well water or it being bad from pollutants or anything like that. There's just no evidence of any harm. And the idea that it might have some effect in some future point seems to me a stretch to impose this overlay on just 102 homes that are involved. Okay, the other thing is, this study was done started in 2003, I think, and the report is 2007. So when I spoke to Ms. Robbins, who's the planning person in Cortland, I asked her, well, does the watershed change over time? And her response was, it does, but not substantially. So the 102 homes are at the very edge of this boundary of the overlay. So a small change could affect those homes, that they wouldn't even be involved in the watershed anymore. It's almost 20 years ago that they made this report. Last point. This is sort of a little bit of irony, and it's sort of what you were speaking about before about the west side of Newcastle. One of the recommendations, the goal is.
Mr. Totman, can you
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
into the
Oh,
microphone,
I'm sorry,
please?
of course, sorry. So one of the things in the report is the goal is to develop and implement stormwater management practices that will improve water quality. One of those is municipal residential curbside leaf collection programs should be developed. And they should consider street sweeping and focus on timing of beneficial to stormwater quality. Now, this is a sort of not exactly on this point, but the point I'm making is it's ironic that we are gonna be subject maybe to this proposal. I've never seen anybody clean any of our leaves, ever. Nobody comes anywhere near that street to do any of this kind of stuff, even though it's recommended here. So it's sort of ironic to adopt one thing and then all the other things that the town's supposed to do, they don't adopt. Just a side point, I'm not being too much cynical about it, and I appreciate, by the way, the offer, I thought it was very, very nice. You know, because we do sort of feel like a little left out sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel that way.
Okay, I think that's all I have, and thank you for your time, and I'm sorry to take much of it, because I know there are other things to do tonight.
You're not
Thank
taking our
you,
time.
thank you for
you.
being here.
I'm sorry, one more thing. Given all of this, the last time I mentioned the idea that some of these proposals were in other sections call for a permit. In other words, the option that people could come and say, look, my situation is that I don't have any chance of hurting the watershed if I do X, which is in the proposal. Instead of an absolute bar to having people not being able to do things, if you have a permit provision, like you have in other sections of the environmental law in Newcastle, then you have some flexibility. And I think I pointed out last time, somebody has to walk on their lawn to get to their house and they're elderly and they wanna make a pavement, they may not be able to do it under this thing. But if you have a permit situation, it allows with some flexibility to deal with those kind of problems. So you can sort of have the cake and eat it too. You can have a proposal, but have a little flexibility to deal with the situation where it would really be harmful to somebody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ann Martin. I'm at 155 Fox Avenue in Austin, Newcastle. So I'm not sure this is can I ask some questions?
Well, this is really a public hearing.
You can ask your questions, but we can't respond with answers, right?
That's correct, yes.
Wait.
Any questions you have will be taken under advisement, but public hearing is not
Oh,
a facility
but
for
I was just
Q&A.
wondering, I guess I think I'm a little behind. I haven't been keeping up. Has Austining passed this?
Yes.
They have.
Yes,
When did they pass it?
all of the other municipalities adopted, I think that the town and village of Austining adopted in late August or early September. We have yet to get a
I think it was
copy
August
of those.
13th.
We have yet to get a copy of their resolutions, but they did
And
adopt.
Croton as well?
Cortland and Croton on Hudson as well.
So Austining, Cortland and Croton.
Ossining Town, Ossining Village, Croton-on-Hudson, and the town of Cortland.
Okay, great, thank you. Last time we were here, we wanted to wait until they passed it, and then I didn't know where that was, so, okay. Because I thought it was important that we saw what their restrictions were before we bound ourselves to.
We waited on purpose for that.
Great, thank you. And then my other question, I'm not really sure if I can ask it, is if you wanted to, if you have a property we have 9 acres, 9.9 acres, so we technically could subdivide it. Does this kind of imposition overlay now massively restrict, cause you're like, oh, well, an existing property, it'll prohibit you from expanding too much, but a brand new property, this will create quite a restriction on if you were able to subdivide the parcel that you currently have.
I'm just gonna advise the board that we're opining on a, on a legal land use issue that's integrated with the overlay district, and it's probably, not advisable to, render an opinion on that.
It was comments, not questions, so okay, I appreciate that we waited until the other, we still have major concerns as you understand, because it limits what we can do with our property, and so we have a lot of concerns, but we can discuss them with you when we meet with you, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Right, thank you.
Can I just raise one very quick issue? I think the question which we can't answer, I'm not equipped to ask, but I think what the resident was getting at maybe was if there was anything that would prevent going forward a subdivision that could have happened prior to this legislation. That's the gist, I think, of the question, so.
Right, I think that's right.
So I think it's a fair question, just I wouldn't know how to answer
It is a
that
fair question, it's a legal question and we're not equipped to answer right now.
I just wanna make sure I
And it's-
understood your question.
Yeah, no, you got the gist of it, is so actually who would I go to ask a question?
Okay, you have to talk into the microphone, but the question is being asked of who you can go to ask that question, and you would have to first start by calling our staff. Who would she call on our staff, Sabrina?
Honestly, when we get a lot of calls on a daily basis of somebody who would like to subdivide their property, we refer them to the town's codes, and we suggest that they get a land use professional, an engineer or an architect to go consult with them to see if there is opportunity due to septic systems, drinking water wells, and other requirements to determine whether or not the subdivision is feasible.
But they're not gonna know impending legislation that hasn't yet been passed, right? So they're not gonna be able to advise me on something that is now not
Okay.
on the existing code. I mean, I
So
don't wanna take up
we're
your time.
having a lot of back and forth outside of the microphone. I think you would have to, take it offline and talk to Sabrina, or Sabrina could direct you to the appropriate person to ask the questions to. Okay.
Thank you.
But thank you. Can we have the next person come up, please? Anyone else? No? Okay, yeah.
My name is Pam Edwards. I live at 4 Alapartis Road in Ossining, Newcastle, west end of Newcastle. And I spoke about this at the last meeting, so I'll keep it quick. But my major issue with all of this is not being able to apply salt or to de-ice the driveway. I live on Alapartis. Our house is built into a hill. Alapartis Road itself can be treacherous. I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but in the wintertime, we've seen so many cars crash into the stone wall across the street from our house. And if we can't apply salt on our driveway, we can easily just go right off the driveway into the road and crash into the house across the street from us. We also could get the oil truck up. There's a part of the driveway that my husband and I could easily slip and fall on. We both had multiple surgeries. So it really is a dangerous situation not to be able to apply salt. And I think that's pretty extreme. That's my major issue. By the way, I wanna thank you for, being so open and welcoming tonight. I really appreciate that.
And just to ease the pain, we will be looking at the salting situation, so I will just say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone online to make a public comment?
No hands are raised.
No hands are raised. Okay then,
I'm sorry, we have one hand that just went up.
okay.
Hello.
Alright, hello. We see your name, but nevertheless, please state your name and your address. And
Sure, Nancy Jane, 20 Alapartis Road.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Nancy Jane, 20 Alapartis Road.
Okay, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to second that same concern that was just voiced right now regarding the icing. My mom lives there, and her entire driveway is a big hill. And she needs to be able to clean and de-ice it and salt it. It would be a huge hazard for her to be able to go out, leave her house, or the other way. So I just wanted to second that as well.
Very good. Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else online?
No other hands are raised.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to take a motion to close the public hearing. And we will leave the record open until September 17th. For written comments, September 17th. What time did we say? Is it 5 o'clock or noon? Sometimes we,
Let's do noon.
okay.
So moved.
And was the supervisor gonna direct Sabrina to create a red line version? With the
Oh
edits?
yeah, Sabrina did discuss it, but
Yeah, after the close of public hearing, after they make this motion, then you would direct that.
okay. Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So Sabrina, you will prepare a red line version of the legislation to bring to us at our next meeting?
At your next meeting following
The meeting of the 24th.
Right, following the close of the written comment period. And we will consider the red line version for passage. We will have that discussion, and we will also discuss whether to pass the legislation prior to the approval of the amendments or wait for the approvals. So you can perhaps
I will look into that before that.
advise us as to what is the better process to adhere to, and we'll make that decision at that time. Okay, alright, thank you. And so I believe we have reached our resolutions, and we will start with our consent agenda. Jeremy, would you, well, do you have something to say
One
before?
question, Sabrina. If we were to make a change that was different and consistent with the other folks, would that require that the other municipalities reopen their?
No, we were told by DEC that it is okay if the municipalities are not adopting the exact same legislation.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
I mean, the land use in each of the municipalities is different, right? So different regulations for the municipalities.
So they're not all married together, there could be some
Correct,
difference. Okay.
correct.
Thank you,
Yes, thank you all, and again, thank you for the recognition.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
for the
Sabrina,
work.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank you, everybody, good night, and I'll be in touch, let me know who would be a point person. Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you. I move to adopt items 1 through 6 as listed on the consent agenda below.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the hiring of Paul Henning, and I apologize, to the position of 4th grade police officer with Newcastle Police Department at an annual salary of $80,019.94 effective October 15th of this year, or the date Westchester County approves the resignation reinstatement.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I move to accept the resignation of Dorothy Andito from the position of member as Beautification Advisory Board, BAB, effective December 12th, 2023. The town would like to thank Dorothy for her service.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I know you wanna read all of them, but Jen, go ahead.
I move to authorize the appointment of Alexandra Clark as a member of the Beautification Advisory Board for a term of 3 years, effective September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to, okay, I'll go down to 5, okay. I move to accept the resignation of Phil Luria as member of the Board of Assessment Review, effective August 10th, 2024. The town would like to thank Phil for his 20 years of dedicated service on the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to appoint Amanda Goldberg as a member of the Board of Assessment Review for the remainder of an existing term effective through September 30th, 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Holly, do you wanna?
I move to authorize the reappointment of the following individuals to the Conservation Board for a term of 2 years, effective September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2026. Victoria Azapieti as chair and Angela Morgan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you do the last?
Sure. I move to close the public hearing on the Indian Brook Croton Gorge Watershed Protection Overlay District and keep it open for written comment until September 17th, 2024 at 12 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
No,
There's
you
a
guys make a motion to
I'm gonna
adjourn.
make, okay, so moved.
Second.